After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Salut à tous, c'est Truncan et on va commencer ensemble l'autre grosse saga en let's play de la chaîne, qui est donc, vous aurez reconnu grâce à la voix de David Hayter, Metal Gear Solid. MGS, ça va faire plaisir. Par contre ça va être des épisodes relativement longs, je pense, il y a beaucoup de cinématiques.
Altitude 30,000 feet. Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute. All right. You ready to go? Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay. Good. We've got high visibility.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask.
That's badass.
Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf? He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Un van. Ah. C'est un américain qui fume des cigares cubains, donc.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Ah oui, les coutilles arrière.
Sunrise.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour.
Génial.
To get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
Ouais, on voit que c'est pas toi qui le fais, connard. C'est toujours aussi classe. Directed by Hideo Kojima.
Jack, I've got some important news. The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
C'est un peu ça.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB-754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story, so why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
Et t'as tout foiré,
The
j'imagine.
security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Eh ouais.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships
Gros malin.
missiles continued
Ah, c'était sympa la guerre froide.
US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Donc vous leur avez donné Sokolov.
They wanted us to return Sokolov.
Huh.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision.
Génial.
What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
Génial, c'est maintenant qu'on le
Is
sait.
it something to do with space rockets?
No. Missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still
Ouais,
in
c'est
the
pas un truc
facility?
de fillette quoi.
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selinoyarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to
À
the
peu
west
près là.
that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
C'est clair.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility.
D'accord.
This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Pendant ce temps, en Russie. Enfin non, pas pendant ce temps vu que c'était un flashback. Ouais. Ouais, de temps en temps il y a des petites scènes interactives comme ça où on peut regarder à travers les yeux de Snake.
If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes.
Le symbole de Fox dans le parachute.
Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat Talon?
She's equipped with two 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as two 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion.
Ouais, ça devrait le faire.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
you'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Génial. Et vous avez vu la rouquine sur son casque, elle a un Z. Parce que le Major c'est Major Zero en fait. Comme Z quoi. Ah, champion du monde de l'atterrissage. Ah! Influence Terminator. Kojima adore le cinéma. Ah putain, c'est loin mais c'est beau. Hein. Oh.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in. From here on out, we'll be using code names to refer to each other. Your code name for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Gotcha. Getting back to the subject, How exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. Do you know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button.
Merci, Captain Obvious.
I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency is 140.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function.
D'accord. Bon, forcément, on commence par les tutoriaux basiques. Hein. Ok. Donc on a un couteau. Ouais, donc vous avez entendu que le Major s'est fait appeler Major Tom. Major Tom, c'est un personnage d'une chanson de David Bowie. C'est Space Oddity, je crois. Je saurais plus vous dire. Alors le mouvement de caméra, on l'avait pas dans la première version du jeu, c'était dans la version Subsistance qui était disponible. Alors dans la version 3DS, vous pouvez carrément vous accroupir et marcher. À l'instar de MGS4. Là, on peut pas... on est obligé de soit de s'accroupir immobile, soit ramper. Hop, on va se laisser tomber. Alors je ferai pas du tout la quête des geckos, c'est-à-dire des grenouilles... des kérotanes, pardon. Hop. Parce que ça sert à rien. Enfin, ça va m'obliger à faire des trucs relous, donc c'est pas la peine.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake.
Ouais.
To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack.
D'accord.
In the survival viewer, choose weapon from the backpack.
D'accord, prends-moi pour un con.
Available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left.
Ok, prends-moi pour un
From that
imbécile.
list, choose the weapon you want to
vraiment
equip
pour un abruti.
and press the enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from item.
Got it. Use the survival
backpack. Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance.
Eh oui, n'est-ce pas, mesdames?
Shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor.
Alors Hush Puppy, ça veut dire qu'en fait il faut
However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire.
Il faut tirer la culasse à chaque tir en fait, après chaque tir.
So don't get too trigger happy with it. The suppressor's
Pour éjecter la
durability is
douille.
shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste.
Ouais,
Same
bon.
goes for bullets and cartridges too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see
Ça se tient.
you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
Ça.
I'm afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines stipulate that soldiers on covert ops like this one be issued a potassium
Génial.
cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
Ce sera plus la simulation.
You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct. The mission rests entirely in your hands.
Et là, t'as pas la pression du tout.
An army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance. The first member of the support team will be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
Elle est bonne.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive. My frequency is 145.73.
Ok.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data.
Ah bah c'est
Whenever you
génial.
want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes, you remember the boss, don't you?
Elle
A
est pas...
legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got
Est-ce que tu te souviens de ton mentor? Non.
She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
The boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you? How many years has it been?
Yay.
Boss?
That's right. It's me. Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been
Crab
5
battle.
years, 72 days and 18 hours.
Oh, lui amoureux.
Just wait.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top-secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that.
C'est pas faux.
A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit
Ouais, c'est
and
comme au
body
foot.
are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top-secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has
C'est assez important ce qu'elle dit en fait là.
Only the mission.
Et ça montre aussi la vision de Kojima sur le monde moderne.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever.
Ah ouais.
Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
Ferme ta gueule!
Call me Snake.
Snake? Oh, right. Your codename is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine.
C'est pas faux.
Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive?
Ah!
You are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Alors je vais vous dire tout de suite, je suis une quiche en infiltration, donc je vais utiliser énormément le pistolet tranquillisant, parce que sinon je vais jamais m'en sortir. J'ai plus l'habitude de sécuriser une zone que de passer sans me faire repérer. Oh, oh, oh. Les yeux très clairs, Naked Snake. Ou Jack. Vous pouvez voir qu'il y a des animaux. Hop là. Hop là, donc j'ai capturé un serpent. Que je pourrais manger ou pas, ça dépend du... On va aller dans le visualisateur de survie. Donc dans mon sac à dos, comme Dora. On va enlever les cigares, on va enlever le détecteur de mouvement, le sonar et le capteur. En général, je me fie à mes yeux. C'est en fait tous les trucs utilisent une batterie qui est universelle, du coup, si vous les utilisez trop, bah, vous risquez d'avoir des soucis. Voilà, je prends juste l'arme. Nourriture. Alors on peut le manger, on va peut-être attendre un petit peu. On peut le lancer sur les ennemis aussi, hein, c'est assez sympa. Et on va gérer un peu les camouflages. Alors pour l'instant j'ai que ça. Sur cette partie-là en tout cas. Donc il y a les camouflages comme ça et les camouflages de visage. Voilà. Ça va me permettre d'être détecté moins facilement. Allez, c'est parti. Marais de Dremochej. C'est magnifique le cyrillique, ça me fait rêver. Alors c'est extrêmement scripté, hein. C'est du couloir quasiment la plupart du temps. Donc, les alligators. On va essayer de pas se les manger, ce serait dommage. C'est ici. Alors, il y a beaucoup d'objets différents. Raté, lol. Ah, vous voyez? Attends, est-ce qu'on la voit? Non, on la voit pas. Ah, il y en a peut-être pas dans la première partie. Voilà, quand vous démarrez une nouvelle partie, en fait, vous savez pas les grenouilles. Il faut d'abord finir une fois. Encore un serpent. On peut se nourrir avec pas mal de choses, hein. Des fruits, des champignons. Donnez-moi chez Nord. Da. Alors, on va faire une petite causette.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
Probablement.
AK-47s and grenades.
Ça va pas le faire, lol.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is
Ouais, tu l'as
already
déjà
a
dit.
violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved.
Ouais, je
Contact
sais
with the
bien.
enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting
C'est vrai, je devrais même pas vous
camouflage
expliquer le
from
jeu, puis
survival
eux ils vous
viewer.
l'expliquent.
The uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the face option lets you change your face paint. Choosing camouflage that blends in with your surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively.
Ok.
Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle.
Lol.
If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the camo index. The camo index shows how well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Ok. Normalement ils sont là-bas. Alors s'il n'y a pas des endroits cachés. Alors déjà, on peut ramper là. Ça va être assez utile parce qu'il nous verra pas. Voilà, ça c'est fait. De mémoire, je crois qu'il y avait un sniper ici. Il y a juste ça, il y a des serpents. Mais surtout, ouais. SVD Dragunov. Qu'on va éviter d'utiliser vu qu'il n'est pas du tout silencieux cette arme-là. Hein. C'est carrément pas du tout le cas même. Alors on peut cacher les corps. On va essayer d'en profiter un maximum. C'est un peu comme dans Splinter Cell, les ennemis comme ils patrouillent, des fois bah, ils vont voir leurs camarades. Et c'est un peu plus permissif que dans Splinter. Ah. Elle a quand même pris deux fléchettes. Hein. Et en fonction de là où vous tirez les fléchettes, évidemment, l'effet du tranquillisant est plus ou moins rapide. Alors vous voyez là il y a des fruits dans les arbres. On peut s'en servir. Voilà. C'est bon. On est hors de vue. Ou pas. Bon, je ne suis pas. Ah bah si, elles sont là les grenouilles. Vous la voyez là en haut? Là sur la souche. Ici. Quand on tire dedans, elle fait du bruit. Toi tu vas faire dodo. On va faire en tirer deux. Dans les herbes. Magnifique. Tolino Vodno. Oh oh. Ce sourire d'enfoiré. Faut pas se gourer, là c'est un fruit, là c'est une grenouille, et la ruche elle est là-bas. Attention, on peut vite se casser la gueule. Hein. Et si on tombe, on meurt. Alors, ici. Hop, on va se rattraper. Voilà. Ici, il y a quand même un XM16. Et voilà, ça fait zizir. Ah, roulade.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held.
Damned.
This place is a dump.
Ouais, c'est carrément ça, quoi.
I can't see Sokolov from here. The security is...
Alors vous me direz, mais pourquoi il y a un cache sur les jumelles et qu'il y a juste une ouverture horizontale? Bah moi je sais pas, je dirais que c'est certainement pour éviter les reflets sur les verres. Je pense que c'est ça.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive.
De acuerdo.
You must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
La phase d'alerte, mais lol.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's
Good
just
luck.
when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. beginning my approach to the target.
Ok. Et on fera ça la prochaine fois, parce qu'il faut pas déconner. Allez, rendez-vous pour le prochain épisode. Et entre temps, profitez du contenu de la chaîne, hein, il y en a plein, donc c'est fait pour vous. Et on se retrouve la prochaine fois pour Rescue Sokolov, donc sauver ce connard. Allez, salut à tous, bye.